Welcome to Living Martial Arts with Master Ray Gale, aka the Dark Master. Living Martial Arts discuss and examines the everyday exercise, philosophy, and lifestyle of the martial arts enthusiast. The host talks about his own training, past and present, and he also interviews many martial artists to discover how they continue to live their own martial arts journey. Tune in for top tips on how to get the best out of your martial art. Or perhaps you're thinking of starting a martial art. This podcast offers you an easy way to dip your toe in. Sign up for the newsletter at livingmartialarts.com and get regular updates and training tips direct to your inbox. Follow the Dark Master on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Living Martial Arts.
Hi, hello again, martial arts fans and living martial arts fans. Once again, we've got Mr. Philip Whitlock, martial artist and now martial arts basketball player as well now, for part two. We ended part one. We were talking a little bit about diet and that type of thing. So we're going to carry on because this is a fascinating, he's a fascinating person. Someone that, again, who's been a huge part of my teaching career at one of my schools. Hi, Phil, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. Again, pleasure to be on and talk to you. I always enjoy it, sir.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, last time we finished with food and diet. We were talking about that. You know, the type of ththings that you do, type of things that I do. One of the things that I found, within the last couple of years that I do is meditation and breath work. Now, I tried meditation when I was younger, and I just didn't have the patience for it. And I also think there are many ways to meditate. Meditation can take many forms, but I'm much better at it now, and I think I'm at an age where meditation tends to suit me. I can sit down quietly and give myself some time. And also breathwork, which I've really taken on board. So I don't know whether, you did any while you were training martial arts, when you were competing. I certainly didn't when I was competing, and I wish I did. But whether you have done any, whether you think you do some in the future, or whether you've had any experience of it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now I do a few minutes. I go to bed, lie down, and then just do a few minutes of breathing exercises before I go to sleep. I find that works really well. I actually struggle quite a lot with breathing. Where I was born with a deviated septum, and then where I decided to do martial arts and get punched and kicked in the face for the rest of my life. I've got a lot of scar tissue and stuff like that. So my nasal breathing is very, very limited. Sometimes when I fall asleep, it's almost like a squeak. There's the only sort of bit of air that sort of gets through. So I'm very much mouth, but I do make sure that even if it's just a little squeak, I'll try and just get that air passing through my nose as much as I can. Before I go to sleep. Also, actually found. Obviously, breathing within martial arts is super, super important. Like literally, as you're doing it. I've also found the same. For weightlifting as well, so the importance of breathing whilst you're doing sort of big compound lifts or any lifts is super important. And I've actually found that quite beneficial, as sort of like breathing in deeply, holding it, etc., and being able to do that physical movement with that braced breath. I've sort of found like as I got better at it, is helped with lifting and stuff like that. And you kind of, I don't know, there's a feeling that you kind of have that you can't really describe, like when you finish that sort of breath type work, or if you've been breathing deeply and correctly with doing some lifting, or I guess even a pattern really, like that sort of feeling that always works. So I think a lot of people that particularly that do martial arts do their breathing exercises, but just sort of don't really think about it whilst they're performing. But if you do think about it and then apply some thought to it, you can really, just level up the benefits from that. Meditation, when I was younger, I did experiment on and off with was sort of sitting down and doing the breathing exercises and stuff like that, and sort of just trying to focus on my breath and doing it for a certain amount of time and stuff like that. And as much as I did feel it beneficial, I don't feel, rightly or wrongly, at the moment, in terms of the I know, as you say, there are lots of different ways to do it, but in terms of the more sort of traditional sense of sitting down for 20 minutes and doing that, I find that sorry, that's my watch. That's right. I find the benefits, in terms of sort of my lifestyle and what I'm doing, they're there, but I don't feel like I need to do it so much. Because I do the breath work anyway, sort of for a short period of time, a couple of times a day, I find that that's enough. And in terms of sort of empty mind, I find myself going into that quite a lot when I'm training. And so I find that I kind of cover that just enough. I know that I could be better at it, but I find that I cover it through the breathing exercises and just training and obviously, with basketball, weightlifting. I still shadow spar, etc. In next month, my garage is getting knocked down and rebuilding it slightly bigger. Can have a heavy bag, matted space. Oh, great! Mitts, etc. We'll just have a little studio again.
I'll be over.
Definitely so, definitely. And that's where I sort of start doing a little bit more martial arts. Again, sort of myself there, but I find that I can just, through practice, go into that zone where it's where I get that whatever stresses I've had in the day, etc. I'm quite good. I know you're very similar as well. So it's very easy, almost preferable to train on my own. Yes. I do enjoy doing group training, and obviously for performance-wise, it's completely a necessity. But now that I don't need to do that, just coming home, yesterday I came home, Sunita and Marley had gone to her friends for a coffee. I went, perfect. Grabbed my ball. It was a bit windy, etc. It wasn't perfect. Went to the nearest basketball court and just shot for half hour, 40 minutes or so. Just trying to get into that rhythm, thinking of just about my shot, and then just that feeling that you get post meditation of all your stress is gone, etc. I have that feeling through that practice, so I feel like I don't need to kind of spend any more time doing that, if that makes sense.
Well, it does make sense. It makes perfect sense, actually. I feel very much the same, because I do my exercises generally early in the morning. And it does feel like a meditative practice when I'm doing it, even though I'm not, as you say, sitting down doing traditional meditation. I might be up and I do my chins or my dips or whatever, but I do it in a certain state of mind. I'm not rushed or anything. I'm calm. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, concentrating on the benefits and that type of thing. So I can certainly understand that, definitely. Just to say, actually, and as you mentioned there, I love, and I've always loved training on my own more than anything else. Even as a young kid, I loved being out there on my own, whether it was the fact that I was trying to build the discipline to motivate myself just to get out and do it. And I still enjoy that now. I still enjoy that. I don't find it hard to get up in the morning, 6:30, and get out, put my stuff on, and go and do some stuff at the park, for example. I love it. So, asking you a question, really. I know you trained martial arts with your brother. Were you ever sort of training partners, or I'm sure you were training critics with each other, just like myself and Master Ogden were saying, "Oh, you should have used that psychic. You should have done this. Should have done that." But were you training partners at all?
100%. Yeah, but my martial arts life it is really sort of critically intrinsic as part of me being a brother to Mike, because we got to share those kind of extreme experiences going around the world, getting in a ring and trying to smash some, trying to win, and that elation, etc. And to have that kind of I feel like we played it very well because we were always there for each other, and we trained a lot together. But actually, more when we were younger. As we got older, we kind of found that where our lifestyles and sort of preferences for training, like a lot of the fitness stuff, we would just do separately. But obviously himself. And Mr. Pixton, when we were sort of in our prime, every weekend we were living out of each other's pockets, really, training and socializing and stuff like that. And I feel really lucky that I got to have those experiences with my brother, because when you spar with someone, when you fight someone, you have that sort of link with that person then, because you've gone through that experience together, because you're testing each other.
Sure.
And I found that it was really beneficial that actually, every Friday night, me and my brother were testing ourselves against each other. Fortunately, we were both very he'd get the edge in one round, and then the next round I'd sort of get the edge, and we were actually very different fighters, which meant it good for us to train together. It made it easier for us to train together because we were very different fighters. Mike, for those that know my brother, is very much a powerhouse, in that he had a psychic chamber that kind of came up above my head, and he was a lot stronger than me, which forced me to be a more cerebral fighter. Like I had to think a way around this massive psychic, because if we just go psychic to psychic, I'm going to lose that battle. So I needed to make sure that my timing was spot on, my footwork, my counters, etc. Sure. And just going through those experiences together was a real treat and pleasure. I think something that we both just look back on, and sort of, we're still just as close. He's a very proud uncle now, and it comes round and has Marley hugs and stuff like that. I think probably a lot closer than a lot of brothers would be because of the Taekwondo experiences we had.
But do you know what? It's interesting. I was actually, when you mentioned about your brother, I was going to say it was always evident to me, the love that you had for each other, and that's not always evident in classes with siblings or whatever. But it's always evident with you two. You could see that in your body language, in the way that you talked about each other, which is so nice. It's so nice to see, and the fact that you were so supportive of each other as well, which was really, really nice. And equally, I miss him. I miss him as well. Miss him in my class. Just having people. As I said, and students that have come from youngsters up to adult are really good people to say, right, what age did you start? 7, and now, crikey, you're 30 this or whatever. And people go, wow. Because it, initially when people start, I don't know, they don't always take it seriously enough in the fact they go, oh, maybe do this for a couple of years or whatever. They don't see it as something for a long period of time. That they're going to do in the next 20 years or whatever. But it's nice to have, yourself in there. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, well, I was going to say your legacy does live on, because we said in the last podcast about the sort of confidence that it gave him, and now he's a very successful, highly appreciated primary school teacher. And we were talking about how he uses his martial arts training and experience and puts that into his teaching. And he's in charge of head of PE now at his school, because of his sort of athletic background and his teaching ability and stuff. And and you know, you had that experience also, and obviously it's in a different way but you know, he's passing on those things that he learned through the education system, which you know, that's great to see. I'm really proud of him, of sort of what he's done with his life.
Definitely. What about this is a strange question. I've asked anyone this question actually on my podcast, and it's about parenthood, because you are a new dad, and I'm super excited for you, because you've got some great times to come. Some challenging ones as well, by the way. But I'm sure you know that. But what sort of dad do you think you're going to be? I think you're going to be fantastic, by the way. I have to say that, because you give so much to other people. I've seen you with other people, and you give so much. So I'm sure you're going to give exactly the same and more to your own child, your own youngster. But remember, you can't just have one. You've got to have another one, because you're such a nice... We need more Whitlocks.
My wife.
we need more Whitlocks. Well, how are you finding that? How do you think you're going to be?
It's been an amazing experience. As you say, it's got its tests, it's got its trying times. You know, when he's screaming and you've changed the nappy, you've fed him, you've given him the gripe water, and he's still screaming. But it's martial. I do think I'm going to be a better parent because of the training in martial arts that I've grown up with, and that it, you know, it's not. I don't need to think about it because I grew up with it. It's just intrinsic. Some of the lessons, which I think is, I'm so fortunate to be exposed to the martial arts like model for life, and you know, the aims that you've got, you know, the tenets of taekwondo, etc. I just feel so fortunate. That gives you the patience to be able to deal with those harder times when they come. You know, I know that there could be hard times ahead, but I feel confident that I've prepared as much as I can, and that, you know, I'll be emotionally capable of dealing with it. And it's funny actually, because sort of people have asked me like, "Oh, do you want him to do what you did?" And it's like, actually, funny enough, no.
I knew you were going to say that. People used to ask me, and I used to say that as well.
Because obviously, you know, happy and healthy is what I want, and but what I think that I can give to him is just the concept and the example of doing a little bit of training every day. Whether it's like physical stuff or whether it's you know, if you want to become a writer, guess what? You've got to sit down and write every day. You've got to make it a habit, a part of your life. And I you know, obviously, if he is into sports, it would make my life a lot easier, because you know, I very much know where I am in terms of sports, particularly martial arts, and 100%. You know, as soon as he turns 4, he will be at Yate Taekwondo as a little puma, and you know, wants to track. The main things that I want from martial arts for my son are the discipline, the tenets, those life lessons that we all know that are there in martial arts. I want him to get those, and I want him to be able to defend himself and his loved ones when he's required to, and have the physical ability and the emotional ability to stand up when it's required and say, you know, I'm going to put a stop to this. But in terms of what you know, obviously he'll do what he wants. And the thing is, if he's too much like me, he'll be doing MMA or kickboxing or fighting.
I was going to say, a lot of those traits are genetics. You've got to be careful. I think, you know, I think my all my children have benefited from the fact that they see me doing what I would call a fitness lifestyle, if you want to call it that, martial arts lifestyle. But both my oldest son's into marathon running, and he does that regularly, and
regularly. His Instagram is every other day. He's in a different part of the country.
Exactly.
It's very impressive.
I can only say that's my fault, because I used to go out with my backpack, running to work and running back from home and all that sort of stuff. But I think it does, and I think it will rub off. And I hope that the other thing is, I hope that you enjoy those things together, because I think that's important as well. And any parents listening to this and not training with their kids, get training with your kids, because you'll love it. You'll love
Definitely. it. And that will be another sort of point. Another point of my career is, if he does, obviously put him in martial arts, and then if he does want to continue that, etc. Then that might be a time for me to kind of dip back in a bit. The problem is, it's traditional taekwondo just does my lower back in. I do it. As soon as I do an L stance, I can hear my lower back going, whoa.
Yeah, stop.
But it's something that maybe I could build the strength up to, but we'll see. But
sure.
Sunita's got a couple of cousins that are like 6'7".
Wow.
6'5" and stuff like that. So, and obviously I'm 6'3". So if he does have some height and some athletic ability,
basketball,
will be a good way to kind of edge him in. And it's funny actually, like talking about sort of futures and stuff like that, and careers and histories. I was listening to Michael Bisping. He was the first UFC British champion, and he's had he's got a fake eye, fake knee, stuff like that. Sort of a lot of sort of health issues from his fighting career, much worse than mine. But I was listening to his podcast and stuff, and somebody asked him a question about sort of, was it worth it? And he said, it's 100% worth it, because me and my kids are now set for life. And he said, I'm physically not in the best way, but he said it doesn't matter, because my kids and my grandkids are going to be fine, which makes it worth it. And I listened to that while Sunita was pregnant, and I thought, I'm in a similar position. I've got these health, these ailments that will have to manage for the rest of my life, which is fine. A lot of people are a lot worse off. I understand that, and luckily I'm mentally tough enough from martial arts to be able to cope with it. But I sort of look back and thought, I put myself through so much punishment, but I still got to work a full-time job now, And I think if my son is athletic and he shows interest in sport and stuff like that, and he's got the coordination and the drive to maybe to go to an elite level at a sport, I would probably I would guide him into a sport that he could financially gain a lot more from. With less, without getting kicked in the head.
Definitely. Because I think, and this is why I think when you're doing it yourself, and then when you're a parent seeing your child do it, it's a completely different ball game. I remember the first time I saw my son spar in a tournament, and I thought, wow. And again, particularly when I saw you, I mean, it was like taking every single blow. I was going, oh wow. I couldn't. I found it really difficult to watch it. Really difficult to watch it. It was tough. It was tough. I would concur with what you said there. definitely without a doubt. Well, I know you've had many great martial arts experiences. People often ask me, what's my favorite or my best martial arts experience? I can't really name one. I could probably say grading under General Che was probably one of the highlights of my Taekwondo career, because not many people get to do that. So I was lucky enough to take my 6th degree under him. But same sort of thing really is what it doesn't have to be one, but some great martial arts experiences that you can bring up at the moment.
I actually, this is quite an easy answer for me. So I'm proud of a lot of different things that I've done in my career for different reasons. But actually, the moment that always comes to my mind is I've got a couple of tattoos on the inside of my arms that came from the same weekend from yourself, Master Ogborn.
Okay,
and it was my first adult summer camp. I was 18 and highly unprepared. I pretty much survived off cereal bars and apples for the week. But I was loving it. The atmosphere, etc. Everyone there for training and stuff. It was brilliant. And that first summer camp will always stick in my mind. So obviously, if people don't know, you were my instructor that I trained with 2-3 times a week, etc. At camp, there were lots of other instructors. I thought, I'll take advantage of this, and I went up to Master Ogborn and I said, after the training session, I said, "So, would you mind looking over one of my patterns, please, and giving me some advice?" And went, "Yeah, of course." So he sat down. I did a pattern. And he absolutely ripped it to shreds. He was like, "Right, your feet are out there. Your sine wave isn't good there." And I think I was doing like Dosan or something like that, like a very junior color belt pattern. Is it spent a few minutes going, "This is wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong," etc. When he said, "Right," excuse me. He said, "Right, come back tomorrow. And I'll look at one of your black belt patterns." And I went away and was like, "Oh God!" And he gave me a lot of training advice along that time as well. And so I went away, thankfully, I wrote a lot of it down, read it, etc. And then the next day we did the training session, and then I said, "So, are you okay to look at look at one of my black belt patterns?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Right, sit down first, though." And I went, "Right, what did I tell you yesterday?" And I was like, "My feet needs to be in 15 degrees. So this hand was there, etc." And he went, yeah. But I forgot one. And he didn't have a piece of paper with him. There was loads of information that he gave out. But there was one thing I missed. And I was absolutely bowled over that he remembered what he told me from the day before. And I went, "Okay, right, stand up. Do I think it was Gay Beck, one of the black belt patterns." So stood up, did Gay Beck. And as I was doing Gay Beck, you came over from the side, and sat down next to Master Ogborn. And I finished the pattern, went parole, came in, sat down, and I was expecting to go, "You did this wrong, you did that wrong, hands here, higher side kick, etc." And you both sort of sat down, and he said, "Phil, we just want you to know that we're really proud of you." And oh God,
don't start.
I'm jumping. My memory is just jumping straight back there. But you both sort of took in turns to say that, you got a long way to go, but we're both really proud of the direction that you're taking and the way that you're going, and we just want you to sort of keep doing what you're doing. We're proud of you, and I welled up. Holding it off now. But oh God, that was a long time ago. And I was 18, but and I remember I was sitting in that tent, and I was sharing a tent with Mr. Pixton, my long-term training partner, and he was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah," Master, just told me they were proud of me. And they were like, "Oh God," and I had a hug and stuff like that, and sat down, and and just having that moment, because I really did idolize yourself at Master Ogborn, and to hear the people that you look up to the most say you're doing a great job really just meant the world to me. And and that was probably actually one of the highlights of my career, which people, without so big-headed, I've won quite a few tournaments and
lots
done quite well. But actually, it's those special moments like that really helped mold me as a person, and made me think about how I need to talk and treat other people as well. And if I can have 5% of the influence that you and Master O had on me becoming a better person, if I can have that to somebody else, then I deem that a success. And hopefully somebody out there might confirm that the mission was successful. But if not, I learned a lot trying.
Well, that's a great answer, and to put the other side to that, we truly were proud of you, and I was very proud of you on a number of occasions when you stepped on that mat in Argentina as a 14-year-old with what looked like a fully grown bloke opposite you, and taking
the coach,
taking the hits that you did, and my heart was sinking, thinking, "Wow, is he going to make it out of this?" And then getting in the ring as a kickboxer, also going to places like Ghana with taking you to Ghana and seeing the way that you carried yourself over there was fantastic, and it's been proud to say that these people, you and a few of the others that came as well, are my students. And crikey, you got me going. You got me going now. And that's been proud moments for me, really. We're sort of coming to the end of this, and hopefully, I do hope you'll come back again on the podcast and let us know how you're getting on, and perhaps we can chat some more. But all I can say is, I've had many fantastic times in my taekwondo. You've been part of that, and I want to thank you for that, because taekwondo has been my love for many years. It still is, and the thing about whether it's taekwondo, martial arts, whatever it is, it's about the people. It's about the people, and the people that you meet, the people that you get to know really well, the people that you fall in love with, and so on. So, thank you very much for that. It really has been a pleasure, and from me to you, I really, really so thankful that you walked into my class with your mum, with your Beano. So thank you for that.
Maybe it was meant to be. But likewise, sir, as I think I said in the first podcast, I would be a different person in leading a whole different life if I hadn't walked through those doors. And I'm just will forever be thankful that they were your dojang doors that I walked through, and that we've had the experiences that we've had together. It's hopefully before too long we're having similar ones with Whitlock 2.0 the next generation.
Well, take care. I want to say thank you to all the Living Martial Arts fans who tuned into this podcast with Mr. Whitlock. I hope you've been suitably inspired by his story. I'm sure you have. And, we'll see you again, hopefully very, very soon. I'd like to wish Phil and his family all the best for the future. And I'll be over to see you and your crew very soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. Take care.